Okay, I'm kind of doing something. You're going to hear some noise, but I hope it is not too overwhelming and overpowering my talking. I'm going to say this real quick. People like to be all united. People like to, it's not wrong with that, but they need to keep that to themselves. People like to be all, I guess what they want to call good-hearted, the bigger person. That's fine. I left that bigger person stuff. I left that alone. And the reason why is because it's time for people to take responsibility. It's time for people to take accountability for their action. Because when I'm constantly the person that's always reaching out, when I'm constantly the person that's trying to be the bigger person, what I actually end up doing is carrying that person's baggage because they don't want to carry their own. They don't want to face themselves in the mirror. They don't want to look at themselves, and you hear water running. Sorry, I hope it's not too loud. They don't want to look at themselves in the mirror. So what it is that you have other people that want to say, well, go on and get him a call. Why? So they can continue to run for themselves? So I need to call and say, well, I love you, and da-da-da-da-da. I ain't doing that because, number one, I'm going to lie. I don't love you, so I'm not going to lie. I don't have to love you. Jesus ain't tell me to, Well, let me tell you something. That biblical Jesus already said, I've been to Israel, and plus, that's a lot of those scripts from the New Testament was taken back from ancient scripts anyway. But then also, a lot of that is talking about yourself. It's talking about your own soul. It's talking about your own spirit. And so, but to get to it, I ain't trying to love everybody. I'm not trying to be perfect. That's the thing. Because when I was a bigger person, I was always trying to smile at people who were nasty at me, who didn't talk to me, who never apologized, but I still go back and smile and talk. What I end up doing is that I would see, when I close my eyes, I don't always meditate when I close my eyes, but I still might see things. You know how anybody can probably do that, but I'm just saying. I call it meditation because anytime you just stop thinking. See, here's the thing with meditation. I said this before. I don't like that word, but I don't really have a better word for it. But meditation is not that serious. It's just emptying your mind of, it's kind of like releasing. Like if you just close your mind and just close your eyes and just stop really thinking a lot, and you just close your eyes, even if you want to rest your eyes, but you just rest your mind a little bit and don't think about everything, let go of the world. Even if it's for 2 minutes, that's a meditation. Meditation is just releasing the things of the world out of your mind for a certain period of time. But getting back to what I was saying. So when I meditate, I see certain things. I see certain things. And what I was saying was that, I would see where, like I would see this basket, like a laundry basket, or I see a trash can or something like that, or I would see like a large white garbage bag. Okay, that white, most of the time it represents me. The white just usually represents me because I didn't come up with that color. That's something that my higher mind came up with. But anytime it's the color white, it's representing me. Okay? And that's not something I thought of myself. I never thought of myself as representing the color white. But I would always see either that white trash can, that white trash bag, or that white laundry basket. I will always see it full of laundry. I will see it full of trash, the trash bag, or I will see a garbage can full of trash, okay? And here's what I'm saying. When I'm always letting people off the hook, and it's not even letting them off the hook. Sometimes I just don't care anymore, and I don't care to talk to them, and I hate it when somebody want to force me to talk to people that I don't really think about like that until they start messing with me. That's the only time they cross my mind, but other than that, I don't think about them. And I don't like nobody forcing me to talk to somebody that I don't want to talk to, I don't care about, and I don't think about, and I don't have to call them and say, look, I love you. Number one, you're a fucking liar. I told you, and I'm saying, You're telling me to lie when I say you're a fucking liar. I'm saying she's a liar. She know I don't love them. Don't tell me to call people and say I love them when I don't. That is a lie. That is a freaking lie. I don't care what the Bible tell you to say. If I don't love them, I ain't gonna call them and say that I do, because I don't care if they die. And who I'm talking about is the family members that I said did sacrificial rituals. And I told, and this was my a family member of mine. I don't want to call her out too much, but a family member of mine, older family member, was like, well, look, we'll call them. And she was really telling me to call my biological father. I said, no, he sold me out. I ain't going to do it. He sold me out. He had the enemy listening on three-way while I was telling him something very personal about what was going on with me. And my life was in danger already, and then he had the nerve to have the most dangerous person online listening three-way. I said, so no. But she was like, but see, the problem is that they don't believe when I say people are practicing dark magic. They don't believe me. So you want me to call this person. And I told you he was in cahoots with them. But still, you want me to call this person and say I love them. What? Oh, sorry. I moved the phone. You're probably going to see a bunch of different stuff. Let me do this. Hopefully you can hear me. Why you want me to call this person and tell him I love them when I don't? If he died, I wouldn't care. And it's because it's been so long since I talked to him, and he didn't care about my life to protect me. I even had dreams where this is my biological father, where he actually set me up with this woman, my adopted mother. I said they were doing dark magic. I say that a lot. I even had a dream where he set me up, and I came to meet him. And then he set me up where she can come get me. And they kind of like, everybody kind of bombarded me and held me down and stuff. I don't have those dreams no more. I had those dreams like in 2019. But I don't have them no more. Because I'm like completely done with them. And I just be damned, I'm sorry. It's going to be some cursing. I'll be damned if you're going to tell me to take some Christian approach because she a Christian. You're going to tell me to call somebody and tell him I love him so he can go back and call this a devil. And I'm going to tell you why I call him a devil. Not him, but the lady, my adopted mother. I said, no. I said, you don't understand that they're dangerous. Like, you don't get it because you don't believe what I'm saying. You want me to put myself in danger because you don't believe what I'm saying. Okay? I know dark magic when I see it. I see very well in the spiritual world. These folks ain't got no spirit. Something wrong with them. What the hell? I don't care. You don't believe people practice dark magic? Because you don't do it, you don't think nobody else do it. Well, guess what? I don't do it either. But that don't mean don't nobody else do it. I don't wear like Lakers jerseys, but that don't mean other people don't wear it, right? I just can't stand somebody because that's not their reality and that's not their lifestyle, and because they're not really aware of anybody else who does it. They feel like I ain't telling them the truth. So you gonna tell me to call somebody, put my life in danger because you don't really believe what the heck I'm saying. That's how I can't put myself in danger and deal with the most dangerous group of people in my life because you trying to be this Christian. Because you want to be a Christian. I'm not going to lie and tell somebody I love them when I don't. That's the Christians are liars. Why you going to lie and tell somebody you love them when you don't love them? Christians are freaking liars. I mean, I like a devil. A devil would tell you a devil hates your behind. Not really. A lot of times devils lie and they act like they all sweet in your face. Let me take that back. But still, some of the most, I appreciate somebody that if they don't like you, they'll act like they don't like you. They ain't got to pretend if it ain't in their heart. Don't make them do something that's not them. Because you want to control the shit. I mean, I'm not upset at my relative. I get where she's coming from, but this is my problem with people who are religious, specifically Christians. I don't have nothing against Christians and what they believe. I have something against what Christians try to force me to do. They're always trying to force somebody else to do something that it's like they Not all of them. It's like they always want to force somebody to be this person that they not. Because they're a Christian and because they what's in the Bible and what they want to believe, they want to tell somebody else to do stuff that don't believe that stuff. We just do it, it's good. But no, it ain't good. Did I tell you these people are crazy? What is wrong with you? You do not understand black magic. And I don't practice that. Well, I think sometimes we can all practice a little black magic and not know it. But I'm talking about people who really know what the heck they doing, been doing it for over 20 years. I mean, they really practicing. And I told her to quote it, it's like, well, your great-grandmother was a so-and-so. And I'm going to, I don't know if I want to say what it is. Okay, I'm going to say Freemasonry. Freemasonry and Eastern Star. Now, some of you guys might be that. I'm not saying you all kill folks and all that stuff. She said that your great-grandmother was an Eastern Star. Like, that was a different generation. I said, do you know what these folks are doing nowadays? Anybody can tell you that know about this stuff nowadays. To really get up high in ranks, it takes a sacrifice. Now, I don't know what white people have to do. And black people have to sacrifice. I don't think white people that's in the Freemasonry have to do the same thing that black people have to do. Black people, when they really need to crawl up in them ranks, they always need to sacrifice something, somebody. And a lot of times it's somebody close to them. I said, don't tell me what I didn't see. I'm not going to see a bunch of demons for no reason. I have all these demons attached to me. And then once I finally realized what they were doing and worked on getting that, I had somebody else to help me get that stuff off me, somebody else who was more professional and skilled to get that stuff off of me, it disappeared. Don't tell me what somebody did or didn't do because you're a doggone Christian. And I was listening to Bobby Hemmett. And Bobby Hemmett was talking about how the CIA feel like black people who are religious and black people who are into the dark, on the dark side. He said, you tell the CIA you're a Christian, and the CIA this is what Bobby Hemmett said. He said, I wish I had a recorder where I can just put it on for you, but I don't have one. But basically, Bobby Hemmett said, if you tell the CIA, you tell them you're a Christian, and then the CIA was like, oh, you can go in and kill that nigga. You can kill him. He don't know shit. But then Bobby Hemmett said, you tell him you're on the motherfucking dark side. You're like, oh shoot, So that's what I'm saying. Because you can be on the dark side and not be evil and try to kill everybody else. Like Bobby Hemmett was on the dark side, but he wanted into killing and sacrificing everybody else. So I'm not against the dark side. What I'm against is all these sacrificial rituals and sacrifices so you can crawl up in rank and so you can get some money. And I've seen, like I said, I've seen a lot of visions of what inside the hall. I've seen inside of it. Just like I said, I've seen where the moon is, the satellite. So you're not going to get me out of trusting myself. I worked too hard. It took me too long. And I'm still working on learning to have confidence in myself and trust myself. You're not going to have me go against trusting myself, my visions, because you a doggone Christian and you think you're doing the right thing by telling me to lie and tell somebody I love them when I don't. I don't love nobody that put me in that kind of danger. And this person knew everything that was going on. Do you know the kind of tools people use to see what's going on nowadays? You can see what other folks doing for the most part, unless they really, really know how to hide themselves. You can see what other people are doing nowadays. And I've seen it before I even talked to her, but she's really skilled. And and plus I don't know if she's in it now, but she wasn't back then. She was like, what made you think that your biological father didn't know all about this? What made you think he wasn't a part of it? So I'm saying, she picked up that he was a part of it all along. Don't tell me to call nobody like that and say I love them because you want to be a good person. A good person don't exist. And I'm not saying that to dog out people and human beings, which a human being don't exist either. I remember uploading my last video about talking about how I have a trouble related to people and humanity, and kind of found out a human being don't doggone exist anyway. That's a trick of the doggone ego. People are not real. A human is not real. That's the ego. That's the ego trying to make it seem like all that stuff real. No wonder I can't relate, because there's a part of me that know all this stuff is fake and it can't be fake. That's why I do this channel and I talk like this all the time, because I can't just sit with somebody and have a mundane conversation about the physical world for too long. When I cannot have that consume my mind for too long. That is the real reason. I'm gonna tell you something. That is the real reason why I really don't try to make friends. Let me do this real quick. Okay. That is the real reason why I really don't try to make friends, unless it's coworkers and they say, let's go out to eat or something. I don't mind that. Let's go out and have some fun. You don't want to alienate yourself from the staff or something like that. You want to get to know the working staff. I don't care about that and being all, and it's like you're hanging out with your coworkers, getting to know each other. But I'm talking about friends. I don't want to talk to nobody that's stuck in that physical world like that. I cannot do it. I cannot have the physical world consume my mind more than it already is, knowing it's an illusion. The ego, I already have enough ego as it is, having to get up and go to work and have to worry about paying bills. I already have enough ego having to deal with that. Okay, my ego, I always have to, sometimes drop down into my ego when I have to do stuff like that. So that's enough for me. So that's another major reason why I don't try to make friends like that. Because even if they call themselves spiritual, they might not be like what I'm on, because everybody have their own thing about themselves. And I cannot, and they don't have to be exactly like me. I said everybody's different. But one thing I cannot do is have a friend where most of the time we are stuck on physical. I'm going to be honest with you. Even in my Christian days, I would talk about the Bible a lot, but I would talk about the Bible a lot to other people who like talking about the Bible. Not force the Bible on people who didn't want to hear it. Okay, so I realize that my relative means well. I always go to him. Look, I'll go to the Great Mother. I'm not against no father, but you guys don't know nothing about the Great Mother. And let me tell you something that's strange. Why is it that I keep hearing more black men talk about the Great Mother more than I hear the so-called black men, brown men, talk about Great Mother more than I hear doggone so-called black women do, or brown women. They always talking about this masculine God when you got these men, a lot of black, so-called black or brown men that's talking about Great Mother, the ones who ain't, chauvinistic and all that, extremely toxic masculine and all that stuff, because toxic masculinity is good in this particular system, because you need toxic masculinity for protection, because somebody who's all into sitting with their legs crossed and their eyes, unless they're going to be able to fight with their mind, you're going to need somebody who's going to bring out some gunpowder. So, you need toxic masculinity. What's going on with Ukraine and Russia in the war, that's toxic masculinity right there. So this ain't about, people want to put that on. I understand the thing going on with so-called black women, black men. People want to put that on a lot of black men. But like the war, when you see wars, when people go to war and all this stuff, that's toxic masculinity. The movie 300, Constantine, that is toxic masculinity. But that's what you call a patriarchy and protection, but that's also toxic masculinity. You have to have that in order to go to war like that. So, but at the same time, sometimes that level of toxic masculinity is good for protection, but they have a hard time recognizing the mother. They have a hard time recognizing the mother. But lately, I seem like I've been seeing more black men, so-called black men or brown men, talk about it more than I see brown women. They still into this masculine deity. Okay, but anyway, and so I have a problem with a lot of brown women that want to keep getting me to turn to this male deity. Really, you can just say it's not male or female, but that force that you call the Great Mother, that's a feminine force. Okay? But it might not be feminine in the way you think that this particular patriarchy has showed you with see, when people think of feminine, they might be thinking of this European standard of feminine. But that great mother feminine is something that a lot of people probably have never seen before, because it's not the type of feminine that people think is the Eurocentric form of feminine. Because when people think about feminine energy, and they think about this Eurocentric form of energy, feminine, and that's not the feminine energy that so-called black women, when they were before the fall, so-called black women, when it was only women, they weren't even operating in that type of femininity that you see Europeans do today. They didn't operate in a Eurocentric form of femininity. They didn't even look like we look. They probably look like monsters. Okay, because we're not used to seeing nothing that look different unless your another eye is open where you can see outside of the illusion. Okay, but yeah, that's all I got to say. The main point is that I'm not going to, just because you have a certain way of doing things doesn't mean I'm going to call somebody, put my life in danger, and then lie and say I love them, knowing that they're going to put me in danger. I'm sorry that for some reason they can't seem to see things well, but I can, and there's other people who can see things better than I can because they've been in practice for a long time, if you know what I mean. Because when I see things, it's just me seeing it when I close my eyes, but these other people, because they've been spiritualists for a long time and they practice and they do readings, they can see a little bit clearer and they can hear from their spirits better because it's a regular practice for them. Okay, so sometimes they can see and hear things a little better than I can, and some of these people gave me greater detail. But they told me what I knew, but they gave me things in better detail. And so if me and them saying the same thing, you're not going to convince me to call somebody who's dangerous. You're not going to convince me to call somebody who's dangerous. Okay, and I told her my adoptive mother, the one that does do a lot of this stuff. She really steals a lot of people's energy. That's what she does. She takes a lot of people's energy. Okay. But, what was I going to say? But yeah, I told my relative, I said, let me tell you something. The real person, my adopted mother, the real person actually died in the late 80s, early 90s, because I've seen it already. I've seen where she died. I've seen where she was underground. Her soul left her body. I said, it's a demonic entity that's operating in her right now. She's dead. I'm not going to call a demon and say I love them. I see something is wrong with when I say these things. Folks just want to believe the people are people. It's like they want to believe, like I'm explaining to you what this thing looked like that I saw inside of her that's operating in her right now. It was half man, half beast, and had goat legs. That's the thing that's in her. Now, I know some people might want to call that Baphomet and all that stuff, but it didn't look like, that head that looks like a dog on, what you call a uterus, the Baphomet head that looked like a uterus. It don't look like that. And a hand form is it's like kind of matriarchal too. Like they took everything from matriarchy, so that thing don't scare me because they stole everything from matriarchy. But what it looked like, this beast operating in her was a Caucasian man with a bald head. He didn't have on a shirt, so he had his shirt off, had a bald head, but his legs were like a beast. He was half man, half beast. That is the thing that's in her. Or sometimes I see her in the spiritual realm, she's wearing shades. Anytime I'm seeing somebody in the spiritual realm and they're wearing shades, that means that something else is possessing them. I've seen a guy from Real Housewives of Atlanta. Okay, this is a small channel, so I'm gonna say it's Todd, because this is a tiny channel, so Todd ain't gonna hear it. Candy ain't gonna hear it. But also, once again, with my eyes closed, I wasn't trying to see it, and I wasn't trying to meditate. But you know how you close your eyes and you just sometimes see things. So everybody got their way of seeing things. They can see things with their eyes open. Sometimes I do that. Okay, see things with my eyes open. Because sometimes when I can't really close my eyes that much, I see a lot with my eyes open. So I can still get the messages that I'm supposed to get. But So I saw Candy. Candy looked like her regular self, makeup and ponytail and all that stuff. But I saw Todd standing next to her, or behind her slightly, and he had on shades. He had on shades. I said, anytime I see somebody with shades on, especially if it's like in a type of vision or something like that, anytime I see somebody with shades on, that means that something else has taken over. That they are no longer that original person that was born. Something else has taken over. Okay? And so if I don't see her, I saw her one time looking like that beast. But every other time she wearing shades. She looked like, when I say shades, if you haven't seen The Matrix, I'm talking about those Smith agents that was coming after Neo. And they all wore those shades. That's what I'm talking about. The people look like they wear those dark shades. Anytime I'm seeing doing like a little meditation, sometimes I'm not trying to meditate, but I just still see things anyway. Anytime you stop thinking and clear your mind, even if you're not trying to meditate, anytime you get the world out your mind, it's a meditation, whether you're trying to meditate or not. Okay, but and so. Okay, I'm gonna have to start this again. I'll talk to you later.